in the lineup for Stanford on a night where the wind blowing pretty much straight away, sort of blew out to right center for most of batting practice. Temps in the mid-70s. Morningstar misses low, count even up at 1-1.
A one slider down and in, or again, he probably calls that a cutter. I'd love to see him repeat it. Great time for a change here too. Looks like a fastball.
There's a strike.
You know, if you're willing to repeat an off-speed pitch after missing with it, you throw it in the zone, you create some doubt in hitters' minds. They know you're not automatically going to go to a fastball. Makes them respect everything in your arsenal.
1-2 taken low. Matt Conti doing the catching tonight for Wake Forest. Familiar infield, third to first of Wentz, Stein, Schaff, and Lewis. Miller, Williams, and Costello, the Deacon outfield from left to right. But on the mound, Blake Morningstar with a 2-2 count to Bates. Chopper toward the Cardinal dugout. We'll do it again.
Morningstar shook off a couple pitches there and went to the change. Really good pitch. Had some downward action to his arm side towards the third base side of the plate. You know, pitchers who can throw a changeup after missing with a breaking ball, that can really be advantageous because that changeup typically spins and looks like your fastball, and a lot of times you'll get that hitter out in front.
Rounder, diving play by Schaff at second up, throwing for the putout. Wake Forest not their best defensive game in Boone on Wednesday. They committed 4 errors in a win over App State, but a great web gem there at second base.
Well, he got a great jump off of contact. That ball really took off once it got on the turf. It was a pretty good pitch, and Bates did a nice job of hitting that ball hard, and I thought it had a little more pace to it than I was expecting.
Here's J.J. Moran, the sophomore from San Diego. One of the most consistent hitters on this team. 12-game hitting streak to start the season. Stanford comes in at 5-7. Played half of their games have been decided by 1 run, 3 up and 3 down.
I thought Coach Esker had a little more gray hair in our conversation with him yesterday.
Been around, a lengthy career at Cal as the head coach. He's a Stanford alum, and mentioned he's now in his 9th season. Back-to-back trips to Omaha earlier this decade. Moran takes fastball for strike 1. Strikeout and a ground out for Morningstar after the leadoff homer. This ball hit into right, should be playable. Costello has time, settles under it, and that is the inning. But Rentaro Sasaki goes deep for the Cardinal. Stanford leads to the top of the first, 1-0. Dugan to a 1-0 lead. Dugan primarily a reliever over the course of his career, but settled into their rotation toward the back half of last season. And now as a senior, he earns the Friday night starting spot.
Yeah, he's going to be a strike thrower, and that's what you need. He's got enough fastball. He's got a good off-speed mix. He'll throw a lot of sliders, mix that predominantly with his fastball, but he's a high 3/4 guy, good arm slot, good direction coming down the mound.
The lineup for Wake Forest that he will face tonight: Williams, Lewis, and Wentz. Luke Costello was back against App State in midweek. He'll clean up, followed by Conti and Miller. And you see Austin Hawk getting the start at DH tonight with Schaff, who made that great defensive play in the top of the first at second base, followed by the freshman shortstop, J.D. Stein. Williams for Wake, second in Division I in terms of stealing bases. He's been awfully good with his bat as well.
Well, when you get a table setter like that with the guys coming in behind him swinging the bat, that makes it a formidable club offensively, and that'll scare some pitching staffs.
And immediately we see the defensive alignment of Stanford as J.J. Moran at third sneaks in. Javar Williams has bunted for a base hit already a couple of times this season. Last weekend, he was hitting primarily into a shift. Dugan with the pitch clock winding down. Jumps ahead of Wake's leadoff hitter, 0-2.
Dugan does a really good job of locating the baseball to his glove side, first base side of home plate, into a lefty, way to a righty. And just same thing for Morningstar. It's going to be important that Dugan establish the inside part of the plate.
Williams has to battle here, down 0-2, but he takes that pitch low and away for ball 1. Coming off an 0-for-5 game in Boone on Wednesday. Wild back and forth game that Wake ended up sneaking out of town with a 9-8 win to run their winning streak to 12. Falling behind here tonight, grounder up the first base line. Tokheim with a nice play, 3 unassisted to retire Javar Williams.
Fastball got that in the inside part of the plate. Was able to jam Williams a little bit. Lavin behind the plate, really nice job of sliding into the first base side of the plate to help give a good visual for Dugan.
So here's Lewis, mentioned off the top, one of the hottest hitters on the team. Home runs each of his last 3 games. Profiled him and Rintaro Sasaki in our open. Sasaki went yard in the top of the first. Maybe Lewis can answer. He'll hit into a shift with Bates, the shortstop, directly behind second. And 1 there on the fastball. Bates ranging out into shallow center. A lot of room down the left field line, both in terms of Moran at third and McDonald out in left. Instead, a hard liner down the right field line, making a big turn as it gets all the way to the wall. Here goes Lewis sliding into second.
Kept his hands back in a changeup. Not a bad pitch. It probably got on the inside part of the plate a little more than Dugan would have hoped. But a pretty good pass at that by Lewis.
4th double for him, 28th for the Deeks on the young season. Professional approach was what you said in the open to describe him.
Kept his hands back, didn't commit, and was able to take that off speed pitch because his hands were back and do some damage with it.
Mentioned Lewis, his hit streak now at 8 games. Dalton Wentz at the plate, also coming into this one with a 7-game hitting streak. First pitch, liner into left, drops in front of McDonald. A late stop sign thrown up by Bill Salento in the third base coaching box. And Wake trying to answer right back after Stanford took the lead. Men at the corners, just 1 away.
I don't think Wentz necessarily hit that on the squarest part of the barrel, but boy, he did a nice job keeping his hands inside and able to do some damage to that.
Brings up Luke Costello. Good to see him back. Last weekend, he got hit in the hand. Had to exit Wake's first of 2 games against Loyola Marymount. The Deeks played 2 apiece against Davidson and Loyola Marymount. And Dugan misses low and away. I mentioned Dugan getting the start of his career as a reliever. Well, that includes the 2023 meeting between these two in the College World Series. Wake won that game 3-2 as Dugan gave up the tying run. Touch more on this later on, but he had a role in that game. Wake last year went to the Sunken Diamond and took 2 of 3 after Stanford won the opener. Cardinal coming back for the return trip. Here's a chopper, left side of the infield, chance to turn 2, get out of the inning, 6-4, not in time. Costello legs it out to keep the inning alive as Lewis touches home from third to tie the game. Taking a look. That is tight. We're going to go ahead and get a review. If you're scoring at home, I hope you're using pencil. This is a very close play. Home plate umpire tonight, Kevin Sweeney, with Aaron Higgins at first, Linus Baker at second, Connor Hoagland third base umpire. And of course, we've learned over the years, Coach, call on the field matters. You got to have clear evidence that he was out.
Yeah, it's been I think that the replay addition's been a nice thing. And, you know, I thought when that ball was hit, I didn't think it was hit hard enough to have a shot at two, and Bates did a really good job of making that initial throw to second. Pretty good turn on the bag as well by Nadi, and we'll see what they say. I might punch him out right now if I look at a replay.
For the moment, Wake has tied the game. And again, umpires are in the replay dungeon, if you will. You are seeing what they are seeing, frame by frame. Truly a bang-bang play in every sense of the word.
The adage, tie goes to the runner. I don't believe that's actually true. It's from umpires I've spoken to, it's strictly a wives' tale. And I'd say that's pretty close to that, right?
And again, mentioned call on the field safe. It seems like these days, the longer the review goes, you've seen it a late overturn, but a lot of times if you keep looking and you keep looking, kind of just default to what you called on the field. We'll see.
Yeah, and Linus Baker, the first base umpire, did a great job of staying with that play. A lot of umpires are quick to make that call. He did a really nice job of staying with what he saw.
Confirmed, and we are tied. Again, great baseball on both ends because Costello absolutely hustled down the line. But as you said, Bates to Nadi and over to Tokheim. Really good defense by Stanford. But Costello reaches. That'll bring up Matt Conti. Conti, the sophomore, like Javar Williams at the top of the Wake lineup, was 0 for 5 in Boone on Wednesday. Second straight game going hitless. It's the first time that's happened all year. His average has dipped under 300 for the first time in a while. Of course, stats are always volatile this early in the season, but still, Conti swinging a hot bat out of the gates. Chopper foul toward the Deacon dugout.
Dugan's breaking ball a little bit bigger than Morningstar's. I think he calls it a slider. I'd say it's closer to a kind of true curveball action. It's got just a little bit of a belly out of his hand. Hitters can probably see it some. Important for him to be able to locate it down and away from the righties.
Ground ball towards Bates at short. He'll go the short way to end the inning. And the game will go to the second, tied at 1. Wake manufactures a run to counter Stanford. We're even after an inning. Five regionals at his alma mater. Also made 5 in his time at Cal. But you see the career, 800-plus career wins, and he's headed towards his 300th win at Stanford. 20 shy of that mark as his team, Wake Forest, won all through the first inning as Sasaki's leadoff homer, and then Blake Morningstar sets down the next 3 batters. So, see Coach over in the dugout tonight, watching his Aussie, Jimmy Nadi, plays second base. He'll bat 5th. Slow start for the senior from Sydney, under a 200 average so far this season.
Am I correct that Australia had a win in the World Baseball Classic last night? Is that right?
It was past my bedtime.
Pretty good baseball there. I was fortunate to be with an Olympic team there in 2000 and learn just how passionate Australians are for baseball.
They're passionate about, they would say sport, not sports as we do in the States, but golf, tennis, rugby, Aussie rules football.
I was pretty passionate about Sydney for the few weeks we were there. I was above average.
Of course, right now they're headed towards their winter as it finally starts to warm up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Nat-I with a 2-2 count against Wake's Blake Morningstar surrendered the third home run he's given up in his junior season to start the game. Outside there to run the count full again, Kevin Sweeney calling balls and strikes tonight.
I just love his breaking ball. It's, you know, some folks would like to see it a bigger, more, you know, bigger shape to it. I think that's a really high percentage strike pitch. I think it's really hard for hitters to see.
Here comes the payoff. Hit on a line and past the dive of Wentz at third. It's rolling all the way to the wall. This is going to be extra bases for Nat-I as he's into second, standing with the leadoff double here in the second.
Like another breaking ball. A little bit elevated, probably belt high. Didn't get it quite down on the outside edge the way he'd like.
Good start to the second inning for the Cardinal. Brings up Luke Lavin. He'll catch and play first base over the course of the season. Behind the plate tonight.
When Morningstar keeps that fastball down in the zone, he's going to get some good late sinking action to it.
Every game that he has played this year, he has found a way to get on base. Speaking of Lavin, came into the weekend on a 4-game hitting streak, and it's kind of the story this season for Stanford. Not the record they would have wanted. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Of course, up and down their schedule, they've also, especially opening weekend, went to Arizona and played some really high-level competition. There's a strike 2. Morningstar jumps ahead.
A little bigger breaking ball there, probably calling that a curveball. Missed with it the pitch before, came back with it. Again, a lot of value to the ability to be able to do that.
Slight shift for a pull on the infield. Out in front, Lavin chops it towards his own dugout. Still 1-2. Team leader with 4 multi-hit games on the season. A little bit of a feast or famine start for Lavin as he's hitting under 230. And another nice job. Didn't get a lot of it, but got enough to keep the at-bat going.
It's a pretty nasty changeup there by Morningstar. Lavin fortunate to get some barrel on it.
Morningstar with 18 pitches in the first inning. And he'll have to throw another one. You hear the shouts coming from the Stanford dugout. They love the battle that Lavin's putting up at the plate right now.
That was velocity-wise the best fastball of the night for Morningstar at 94.
Runner goes, throw down, not in time on strike 3, so the stolen base for Nat-I, just the 10th of the season for the Cardinal, but not technically, Coach, a productive out, but it still gets the runner over. You look at the pitch there, ball in the turf, tough for Connie to be able to quickly get up and throw, and a great jump by Nat-I to take third.
Yeah, it worked out. A good pitch to steal on. Nat-I got a good jump. Was not a lot of activity out there relative to holding him on.
Brock Kettleson, the freshman, bats with the infield in and 1 out. First pitch hit high into the air. It's going to be a long run as it's down the line and left. Miller in left will make the catch, and bluffing a move to the plate is Nat-I. He stays put, and a big second out for Morningstar. Off the bat, I thought that might be trouble if it bloops into shallow left with obviously Wentz at third and Stein at short and moving in, and Wake brought all 4 of the infielders in there.
That's probably where that wind helped a little bit keep it up. That was the best fastball of the night thus far, 95. A little bit up in the zone. Kelsey couldn't catch up to it.
Here's Marsh. Outstanding freshman year. He was the NCBWA Freshman of the Year. Much like Sasaki, not on fire to start the year with an average of 210, but all the potential in the world that he showed last year. Count even as Morningstar misses. It's 1-1.
Great location for that miss.
Another good breaking ball there from Wake's right-hander.
You know, it looks like Morningstar's got the ability to change the size of his breaking ball. And, you know, it could very well be throwing two different breaking balls, but the first two were very small, very tight. That one a little bigger. A little more loop to it.
Trying to keep Stanford off the scoreboard here in the second. With 2 away, the 1-2. That's low to even the count.
That was 96. I think it looks like he's getting loose.
Innings of work over his first 3 outings. Rough first couple. He was awfully good last week. Didn't allow a run versus Loyola Marymount. Swing and a miss there. Morningstar smacks the glove as he keeps Stanford with a base runner at third. They'll strand that man. Inning and a half. It's 1-1. Win 509 in the old gold and black against in-state rival App State on Wednesday night. His team on a tear. 12-game winning streak after dropping the season opener against Houston down in Puerto Rico. Jackson Miller to start the home half of the second inning.
Boy, Tom's just done such a great job maintaining and continuing the excellence here of Wake Forest baseball. They pitch, they play, they swing the bat.
Learning to cater to the Deeks home ballpark. If you're going to pitch here, you better strike out a lot of folks because of the short porch in left and right.
You're not kidding.
And if you can hit here, helps to be able to hit dingers. Miller taps it foul behind the dish. 2-2. Those 12 games that Wake has won in a row, by the way, it's the third longest win streak in the Tom Walter era. The CWS team in 2023 had a 13-game tear. Back in 2012, that team won 15 in a row. So Miller stays alive, tapping that foul. And Wake's 12 wins in a row, tied with USC and Texas, only behind Florida. Gators like Wake lost their opener, haven't lost since. Dugan with a strikeout as he retires Miller. That'll be the first strikeout for the Stanford starter. First out of the second.
Well, both pitchers thus far are doing what all pitchers should do. They are pounding the strike zone. They're throwing all of their pitches for strikes. That's going to make their fastballs play even better.
Spoke with Stanford's head coach David Esker before the series, and he mentioned, talking about Dugan, you know, we truly need him to be a workhorse as Austin Hall bats for the Deeks. Dugan last week topped century mark in pitches for the first time all year. He said, you know, right now maybe 110 is about his max, but ideally they'd love to see him get closer to 120. As Hawk got his first base hit of the season in Boone on Wednesday, grounds this one foul to fall behind 0-2.
You know, part of the art form on the first game of a conference series is, how am I going to use my starter? How deep do I want to get him? How long do I stay with him if things aren't comfortable, so that I manage my bullpen correctly?
Another tapper foul, 0-2.
I was excited to hear Dave Esker talk about needed his starters to be able to get to 120 pitches. And in this day and age of overly conservative pitch counts, that was music to my ears, I think I told him on the call.
0-2 as it's going to be back-to-back strikeouts as Hawk tried to hold up, but his bat went around, and there's 2 away in the second. Another look at the punch-out.
Yeah, probably went on the swing, which is what the call was. And that was 89 miles an hour, but the fact he's thrown 5 breaking balls in a row for a strike, that fastball looked like it was about 98. And a great job by Ladwitz getting on the inside part of the plate.
Dugan will now face Wake's Blake Schaff. Jr. came over from Georgetown, has already made one outstanding defensive play tonight. Quite the offensive numbers he had for the Hoyas as he bats 8th in the Deacon lineup tonight. He's ahead 2-0 here. Schaff started every game last year, hit .344. Step up in competition here in the ACC openers. He chops this one slowly towards second. One second baseman grounds out to another as Nadai throws to Tokheim, and Dugan sets the Deeks down in order in the second. We remain tied here at the couch through 2. Back in 2023. See some of the numbers there. A couple lightning delays in that game. Wake Forest coming from behind late despite getting out hit 9-6. They got the win en route to ultimately falling to LSU, who claimed the national championship over Florida that year. With Dick Cook, Phil Brame here at the couch, Blake Morningstar working against Stanford's senior left fielder, Court McDonald. McDonald from Arlington, Texas. Blake Morningstar has given up a leadoff hit for extra bases in both innings he's worked. Homer by Sasaki to lead off the game, and he'll bat next. Nadai with a leadoff double down the left field line in the second. Here in the third, Morningstar ahead 1-2.
Boy, Morningstar threw a bunch of quality pitches after that leadoff double last inning. 2 strikeouts, a fly out, made it look pretty easy the rest of the way.
Soft grounder, playing deep. Schaff at second, throws over, and that will retire McDonald.
Morning.
1 away, so here comes Rentaro Sasaki. See some of the bio on him. Selected 1st overall in the Japanese Pro Baseball draft. A draft-eligible sophomore. Love the bottom line, though, and a full credit to him. Coach Esker talking about, and he used the word courageous, and I think it's absolutely appropriate. No use of an interpreter, coming to the United States, going to school, and learning at an elite university like Stanford in a language that isn't your first language. Full credit to him for the challenges he's undertaking, both in the classroom and on the diamond. As we saw in the first inning, Coach, he can hit.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to hit at the top of the order too for you. He watching him interact before the game, looked very comfortable being there. You know, obviously the deer in the headlights may have never been there, but it's certainly not there now.
Takes upstairs. He also, it bears repeating too, you know, how advanced he is in his technique. It was a 1-2 pitch that he went oppo over the left field wall.
He's a great one for young hitters to watch. He just does not have a lot of excess movement in his swing prep, which allows him to maximize that bat speed, those really quick hands he's got. You look at how still his head is. You know, everybody who's watching this game who's a golfer, hey, watch how quiet that head is. Take that to your tee box, you'll be a different golfer.
Morningstar misses inside to run the count full. So you're saying it keeping the Still, head matters when you're trying to hit a projectile coming at you at 90 miles an hour plus, as opposed to that stupid little white ball that's just lying on the ground on a tee.
Absolutely. If we could do that, we'd all be a little better.
Payoff pitch misses up and away as Morningstar is going to issue the first walk of his evening's work. Sasaki now a one-out base runner.
My guess is he's not going to see a ton more fastballs, given the way
see how he's tracking. Not to say he was undisciplined last year, but perhaps he's getting pitched to just a little differently in his sophomore campaign, as Tokheim, who struck out in his first at bat, will come to the dish for a second time.
You know, there's a lot more usage now of my best hitter hitting lead off or second. Well, if that hitter also can draw base on balls, get on base, you're setting it up for the middle of the lineup guys. Oh yeah, and I've got a ton of power too at the top of the order.
Stanford doesn't steal a lot of bases. Mentioned the stolen base by Nadi was their 10th of the season in 16 attempts. Lake, meanwhile, 27 for 30. Deeks have played one more game, but Stanford much more conservative. Sasaki has not attempted a stolen base this year. Bluffs off first. Swing and a miss there as Tokheim now in a 1-2 hole.
Sinking fastball. Got on the inside part of the plate. Conti set up on that inside third and let that ball run to the edge and a little bit off. That sets up that nice cutter, slider he can throw away if he doesn't go back in.
Called strike three as Morningstar with his 4th K, second of Tokheim, and there's 2 down here in the 3rd. Second peek at this one.
Nice frame by Conti, great location down the zone. Yeah, we've gotten away so much chasing of velocity. There's a lot more balls pitched that are being thrown elevated in the strike zone. It's nice to see someone working down.
At the risk of beating a dead horse, especially in a ballpark like this one, which is small to begin with, and on a warm night, kind of a lazy breeze blowing out, makes the play even smaller.
Yeah, Morningstar's arm slot, kind of a low 3/4 release, plays to sinking type action on a fastball.
Swing and a miss there as Bates comes up empty on 93. Bates plays shortstop, absolutely roasted a ball to second base in the first. It was a backhand dive by Schaff to rob him of likely extra bases. See if the park holds this one. Foul ground, nope. It reaches row 2 behind the Wake dugout.
Well, that's the first time that Morningstar's thrown that cutter type slider pitch to a lefty. Got it in on Bates' hands, and if a right-handed pitcher can do that to a lefty, that opens up that outside part of the plate. I don't think Sasaki's necessarily going to see that pitch tonight.
The 1-2 outside as Connie leaps up. Sasaki back to first.
With a change away, cutter in, slider in, change away. 2-2 count. We like going best pitch that day, and I really think that Morningstar's got a couple of different options here.
Goes fastball and misses inside. Missed his spot as Conti was set up kind of outer half of the plate and missed inside to the lefty Bates.
Got a base open, right-hander on deck. Could go something off speed here in the 3-2 count.
Sasaki will be moving from first on the payoff with 2 down. Check swing, he went. That's a strikeout and the 5th K for Morningstar through 3. Another stranded runner for the Cardinal, and it's still 1-1 between Stanford and Wake. Typically, you can count on multiple ACC teams going to Omaha. Something that Stanford did 3 consecutive years, 2021, 22, and 23. The Deacs, of course, making it in 2023 as Wake's freshman shortstop J.D. Stein will start the 3rd inning at the plate. Stein under a 200 average thus far in his freshman campaign. Dugan continues on the hill for the Cardinal. He evens the count with a strike there.
Dugan now 9 balls and 20 strikes thus far. That'll get you deep into a game. You keep rolling with that.
It's what you ask of the Friday guy. Set the tone for the weekend as Stein flares that one foul. Freshman who has only committed 1 error defensively and has had some absolutely outstanding plays, trying to catch up from the offensive side. Not unusual, but as a freshman playing shortstop, tells you the confidence that the Wake staff has in him. Takes outside there to even the count, 2-2.
Good miss with that 1-2 breaking ball, exactly where you want to throw that if you're not going to put it in the zone. He's had really good command of that breaking pitch thus far.
2-2 close pitch, but misses to run the count full. Stein's drawn 6 walks this season. Again, though the average is not what he would want, it's kind of the oddities of baseball. 184 average, but he's already in double-figure RBIs with 11. Batting here with the bases clear. Chopper foul. Hear the shouts now coming from the Wake dugout. It's funny, Stein started his collegiate career batting the leadoff against Houston and immediately had like an 8 or 9 pitch at bat. Ended up being retired, but thrown right into the fire as he slaps this one foul toward a vacant bullpen down the right field line.
Going into pitch number 9 for this at bat. And as efficient as Dugan has been thus far, I'm sure Wake's excited to see some pitches added to his count.
Dugan has pitched all over the staff in terms of roles over his career. He's got some saves to his career, primarily sophomore and freshman campaigns. Again, moving into the rotation as a junior. Now a Friday guy. Trying to pitch with maybe the body clock not exactly adjusted. As Stanford, of course, having to fly in from the West Coast. Now Stein rips this one on a line into left, ranging back. McDonald with a nice break on that ball off the bat of Stein. He retires the Deacon shortstop after a lengthy at-bat to start the 3rd.
Great at-bat. Stein's got to come out of there feeling good about how he approached it. Took the at-bat deep, hit the ball on the button. You know, and Dugan's got to feel great throwing a bunch of strikes and throwing some good pitches and then getting it out. So everyone feels good about that. With 1 out, nobody on here.
For Williams to bat next. He pulled the ball up the first baseline as the corners come in to start this at bat. Dugan misses upstairs. Williams moving into the leadoff spot that opening weekend for Wake in Puerto Rico. Game 3 against Indiana State. He has stayed there ever since.
There's a 1-0 change. That might have been probably the 2nd changeup of the night we've seen. Great time to do it. Miss with a fastball, throw that off speed to 1 in a fastball count.
Check swing toward the dugout. Look out.
And you got a 91-mile-an-hour fastball up a little bit. Again, it just plays a little better than that when you throw that off-speed pitch over the plate the one before.
Pitch clock at 1 as Dugan goes into the wind. Misses low.
I think there might have been a little lack of communication there electronically. They had to go to the fingers to throw that pitch sign out.
Now Williams on a line, drives this one through the hole, right side of the infield. He'll make a wide turn at first, but stop there. One out base knock. And the leading base stealer in the ACC is aboard with one away.
Changeup, not a bad pitch, a little bit. Stayed up just a little bit. Williams, like all good hitters, when they hit off speed hard, kept his hands back. He got out in front a little bit with his upper half, but the hands stayed. He hit that one on the button.
Cade Lewis drove one to the wall and right. Had a double. His first at bat. So his hit streak now at 8. He would score the Deacon run. Both runs coming in the first. Ground ball, not electing to go to second. Nadi, the second baseman, gets the sure thing to retire Lewis as Williams takes second. They're playing Lewis deep there at second base, so any ground ball there just makes a double play a tougher proposition.
I tell you, if Dugan can keep establishing or getting his fastball in the way he has thus far, that'll help him continue to get deeper. Really like the way Lavin is setting up behind the plate to help give Dugan a good visual to get the ball inside to righties and lefties. Always, everyone says you need to pitch in on guys. It's hard to do that. Our misses typically are going to be over the plate.
2 down and a man at second. First pitch, Mitz fouls it onto the roof. And you mentioned Dugan earlier in the broadcast. He is a strike thrower. 43 pitches with 2 down in the third, and you see out of the 12 batters faced, he's gotten ahead of 5 of them. Wentz tags this one to straightaway center. Kettleson ranging back and on a lead. He makes the catch as his momentum takes him on to the track. So a 1-out base hit for Javar Williams goes for naught. We've played 3 in Winston. Still 1-1 between Wake and Stanford. Number 15, Wake Forest and Stanford. 3 innings in the books. Limited offense. We got all the runs in this game in the first inning. Rentaro Sasaki started us with a leadoff homer for the Cardinal. Wake with an RBI ground out from Luke Costello in the bottom of the frame. So top of the 4th would be the middle third of the Cardinal order to bat. J.J. Moran will take a first pitch strike. Blake Morningstar, 57 pitches for Morningstar through 3, while Stanford's Nick Dugan has only needed 44 pitches through 3. Swing and a miss there as Morningstar's ahead 0-2. He's got 5 punch-outs through 3. And he's ahead here of Stanford's third baseman.
2 good breaking balls of different sizes there. Strike 1 and strike 2.
Moran with a take there as Morningstar tried to get a cheap one there, throwing a breaking ball out of the zone.
Not what I, me, old-fashioned guy, I would love in that 0-2 after two great breaking balls, I'd love to see a fastball somewhere to let him see it and then finish it with that breaking ball. That's what I think can do it.
Breaking ball for the punch out. That's 3 in a row set down via the strikeout. 1 away in the 4th.
QBP, quick breaking pitch. Looks like a fastball. And then suddenly takes a little bit of a turn over to the first base side of the plate.
Fair to say that ball is more than halfway to home plate in terms of what the hitter can pick up before it really starts to turn.
Yeah, and it looks, coming out of his hand, it's looking out of the same, what they call tunnels now, right? Coming out of his fastball tunnel.
And a quick 1-pitch out to retire Nadi. He doubled for Stanford to lead off the second. Here he flies out on 1 pitch, and well, you love the punch outs. Easy fly ball to center field on the first pitch of the at-bat doesn't hurt either.
And Ted Williams said that, which is, I would call Morningstar's quick breaking pitch, a classic slider.
There's Lavin. Saw the first pitch strike breakdown for Dugan. Morningstar, 11 of 15 first pitch strikes tonight. He's ahead of Lavin. 0-2.
Lower arm slide, he might not be a guy who likes to elevate his fastball, but I'd love to see a fastball 4 inches off the outside part of the plate. We don't think we do that as much anymore.
The 0-2. Missing outside there.
He threw a change. Good miss, great arm side action. That ball ran away from Nadi off the outside edge. That helps Morningstar expand the zone here.
Foul back to the screen. Morningstar officially listed as throwing 6 pitches. 2-seam, 4-seam, and cutter, complemented by a curve, a slider, and a changeup.
Yeah, and for the average fan, or even for me up here, it's talking curve, slider, cutter. Sometimes they get looking kind of similar.
Well, it's working. The arsenal on full display as Morningstar has struck out 7 through 4. And it remains 1-1 between Wake and Stanford. Schools, Phil Brame and Dick Cook with you here at the ballpark as Nick Dugan on the hill for Stanford. He is inches away from still having a shutout after Wake with Luke Costello batting. It was Costello who beat out what would have been a double play 6-4-3 that would have ended the Wake first. Instead, he got an RBI ground out. I know you've liked what you've seen from Dugan thus far.
Well, when you're 12 balls and 32 strikes at 44 pitches, you can be close to having a shutout going. You or I can go down there and pitch okay if we were throwing that many strikes.
Coach, I don't have the gas.
At least I could.
Okay, I bet you could. Some of these hitters would probably take me about 500 feet deep to the field of their choice. Costello behind 0-2. Trying to restart what was a really hot bat in the early going for Wake. Takes outside.
Perfect spot for that 0-2 breaking ball to miss. And again, credit to Lavin for moving to that outside edge. And you can repeat it, you can go in hard with a fastball.
Is that a grounder towards short? Throw over is in time. Costello retired on the throw from Charlie Bates. Brings up Matt Conte.
You know, that goes as just that's a 6-3 in the book, but that's a good play by Bates. That ball hit a little bit to the third base side. He had to charge it, get around it, field it, throw it on the run. The fans just kind of assume that's just a baseball play. It is, but it's not an easy one to make. But it's critical for a shortstop to be able to do it consistently.
This ball off the foot of Dugan. You could hear the thud as Conte careful to step over that baseball as he legs out the single. Definitely caught, it sounded like it hit him right on the cleat. It's kind of the thud of the ball hitting the leather. I'm going to get a visit from Stanford training staff to check on Dugan as we get a look at the replay.
It looked like he got him on the bottom of the shoe.
David Esker joining John Usong. Team position out there, taking a look. Give him a chance to make sure all is well.
Isn't it amazing that pitchers don't get hit more than they do? So I pitched, a lot. I'm kind of not an overly young guy, and I got hit once in my life in the thigh. I continued on in high school. I had some other balls go frighteningly close by me, but the fact that I didn't get hit more than that is kind of one of those odd things about in athletics.
And especially as hard as some of these balls get hit, there's nothing you can do. It's just, are you lucky enough to miss it?
Yep.
As Jackson Miller will bat next for Wake.
in this ballpark in 1979. I was facing a gentleman from the Lynchburg Mets. He had a line drive past my head. I put my glove up. Didn't hit me.
Here's Miller going the other way. They were playing for a pull. Miller instead drives that one to the right side, and Wake with a couple of base hits with one away. Something brewing here in the fourth potentially as Austin Hawk will bat next. See all the real estate there, and nice job by Miller.
Fastball inside, and Miller did a great job of, I don't know if he was trying to shoot it that way, but he kept his hands inside of it. Not allowed him to let the ball travel deep and hit it squarely.
Austin Hawk struck out in his first at bat.
So that ball in Lynchburg, by the Lynchburg hitter in 1980, I was disappointed I didn't catch it. We got to the dugout, and my teammates were saying, you put your glove up about the time the ball bounced into the center fielder's glove. It wasn't quite as close as you thought.
I don't think they're giving you enough credit.
No, they're not.
I mean, baseball players are known to always treat their teammates with honesty, respect, would never give them a hard time about something like that. Hawk trying to get on track offensively after hitting 300 last year, but it's been a stop and start season for him thus far. And much like the pitch he was retired on, he tried to stop his swing too far along, and that's strike number one.
And boy, Dugan's throwing some fastballs to the inside part of it. He's pitching in quite a bit, and some of these fastballs are running pretty good to his arm side. I don't know if he's mixing a two-seamer in with that.
Take there by Hawk. He jumps ahead 2-1.
Big at bat here for both Hawk and Dugan.
Dugan's been pretty much sailing along since the first. Falls behind 3-1. He did work around a single in the third by Javar Williams. And that stopped a streak of retiring 7 in a row after he gave up the double to Lewis. Wake able to manufacture a run. An RBI ground out.
This may be his first 3-ball count of the night.
Swing and a miss. So Hawk with a big cut there. He comes up empty.
If my chart is right, I think this is his first hitter he's gone to 3 balls on.
Certainly the first full count. With one away. And Hawk will see another pitch. Because the lengthy at bat by Stein, I mean, a lot of that was a defensive-minded approach by Stein. He was behind most of that at bat.
Right, and actually that was the first 3-ball count in Stein's. So this is his second one.
It was at least 8 or 9 pitches. Another payoff on the way to Hawk. And he takes high. Wake's got the bases loaded. Those of you that have been with us for most of the season, our broadcast here from the couch, know that bases loaded hitting was a bit of a scourge for Wake offensively. They woke up in a big way last weekend in the Loyola Marymount and Davidson combo series over that 4-game weekend. We're going to get our first trip to the mound.
Yeah, good time for a visit here. This is no more than a clear your head.
This is Thomas Eager, the pitching coach.
Give a chance to reset. Maybe talk about the scatter report of this hitter.
Blake Schaff will bat with 1 out and the bases loaded. He had a ground out to end the second inning, and a situation that, of course, you've been in overtime where you have a guy sailing along and all of a sudden you run into a jam, the first true trouble of the night. As Kevin Sweeney, home plate umpire, heads out to break up the conversation.
So if I'm Schaff, I'm locked in. I'm looking for a fastball. Dead red, 1 pitch in 1 spot. If I get it, I'm going. Maybe I start off speed. Maybe I challenge him with a fastball in.
First pitch, swing and a miss out in front there. Schaff 1 for 4 with the bases loaded this season. He's got 5 RBIs. Time called.
Stanford having some, periodically have had some hearing issues with all the technology we've got now in a baseball game.
I don't care if it's baseball or your house, your job, your car. Technology is fantastic in the year of our Lord 2026 until it doesn't work.
That's right.
And then you wonder, for so many years the catcher would just throw a couple of signs down, and at that point we were good to go.
I just never felt that, and maybe there's coaches listening who had our signs all the time. I just didn't think it was that hard to have a system that you could keep the other team from stealing signs.
The biggest thing, obviously, it's done along with the pitch clock, though, which I don't think it can be argued, is pace of play.
Absolutely.
The game just moves. And
so, I mean, it's like a 6-hour conversation, but I think too many pitchers are called from the dugout in college. I think they all are, which I think is unfortunate, because my buddies in pro ball complain about catchers not knowing how to call a game. There's a balance there, right? But let the catchers call it, let the pace go.
Dugan's pitch count now at 59. He misses upstairs, 1-1.
So the balls that have been hit the hardest tonight off of him have been changeups to left-handers. And I'll be curious to see if he stays with that, if he shelves that for a little bit.
Another one low and in the turf as Lavin smothers it behind the dish. And Dugan, as you said, he's pitched to contact a lot tonight. 2 strikeouts to 1 walk through 3 1/3. While Morningstar with 7 strikeouts for Wake. A 2-1 count here to Wake's second baseman. Ground ball, and it gets through. That will score 1, and Wake will hold there. But an RBI base knock for Blake Schaff has Wake in front for the first time tonight.
Fastball to Schaff at 90. Nice at bat. You miss with a breaking ball pitch before that. That's a great time, I think. You miss off speed, you come back with it. Bases loaded, hitter's geared up for fastball, he got it. Made him pay the price. Even that change, which hasn't been a great pitch for him, would be a good miss or a good follow-up to that breaking ball that pitched before.
So here's J.D. Stein to bat next, and he takes inside for ball 1. Great crowd on hand that's really filled in at the couch over the second and third innings. Starting to get back into this game with Wake inching in front. So there's a strike.
Some very light activity in the Stanford bullpen, moving a little more now, but no one throwing yet. I think they're getting ready to go. And this is that art form coaches have to manage. I'm trailing now 2-1. We're midway through the game. How do I want to use my bullpen in the first game of a 3-game set?
Here's a sharp grounder. Chance for 2. They go to second for 1. That's a wide throw to first, and it's going to score 2. As Stein stumbles, they're going to have him in a rundown as he tries to get back to first, and now the rundown is well and truly on. Stein will give himself up, and that will be the inning. But Wake strikes for 3, and the new score after 4. Deeks in front, 4-1. 4 innings of work for the Deacon ace, and he has struck out 7.
Command of multiple pitches, throwing the ball over the plate, throwing his fastball in. He's been the whole package thus far. Great recovery after that first at bat.
He'll pitch with a lead for the first time tonight. And pitch count, pretty decent for a guy, coach, who has struck out 7. A lot of times that, the high strikeout totals can be the the death knell for trying to go deep into a game, but 67 through 4, not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm pleased if I'm Wake Forest. I don't know what their thought is on him number-wise, but if they're thinking 110, 120, he's got some depth he can go here, some length he can go.
Morning Star last week went 7 shutout innings against Loyola Marymount, giving up only 4 hits. He'll start top of the 5th inning. Wake leading 4-1. Bottom third of the Cardinal order, it's Brock Kettleson first up. Made a nice play in center field defensively.
Boy, Kettleson got a great jump on that ball defensively. That ball was struck well, and he made it look routine.
Morning Star misses outside, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Three and 1 now. Kettleson flew out to left field first time up. Sends this one sky high. We'll see if the park holds it. Wentz in foul ground should have room as the spin brings it closer towards third base. Kettleson retired to start the 5th.
Morning Star went right at him, got to the 3-1. Certainly don't want to give up that base on balls after your team puts up a 3 spot for you. That was a fastball down Broadway, and Kettleson couldn't catch up to it.
A lot of the control issues as Marsh bats next. He was retired on strikes. First time through for Morning Star against the Stanford lineup. He struck out 3. He's got 4 Ks this trip through, with Marsh in the 8 hole.
He's doing a great job of staying away from patterns, just mixing his pitches, throwing off speed behind in the count.
Falls behind 3-0 here. Going back to the first couple of outings where he struggled. Fastball was pretty good. It was the execution and control of the secondary pitches that tended to be the bugaboo for him. 3-0 pitch misses up and in, so a 4-pitch walk to Marsh gives the Cardinal a base runner. Court McDonald, the 9 hole to bat next.
So, I mean, I think if you're in the Wake dugout, the coaching staff's probably paying attention. We went 3-ball count and leadoff guy. We just walked this hitter. Maybe there's a little bit of movement going on.
And to your point a half inning ago about the Stanford bullpen, there will be a doubleheader tomorrow. These teams, with the weather forecast on Sunday, are going to play 2 tomorrow. That's just an added layer, isn't it, when you know that there's very likely 18 innings on the way tomorrow?
Sure. You know, and Stanford's down 3 runs now, and you certainly don't want to say we can't win this game. However, you're not going to throw a frontline, high-leverage reliever, I don't think, at this juncture in Game 1 of a 3-game set, when those 3 games, especially when they're squeezed into 2 days.
Morning Star, 4-pitch walk, now behind 1-0. Pumps a fastball in there at 92 for strike 1.
I'm confident I had folks, you know, in the stands on a Friday night wondering why I was leaving a starter out there. And it's predicated a lot by, we got more games this weekend we got to play. We got to try to win as well.
Sometimes you have to lose the battle or win the war, right?
Sure. Then that changes Game 2, that shifts a little. And, you know, a really good friend of mine, Ray Tanner, former baseball coach in South Carolina, he said, you know, Game 2 is the most important game of the series. There were times when he would save his best starter for the Saturday's game, or it's the second game of the series.
Donald shows bunt, pulls back as the pitch was low, so 3-1. Morning Star in danger of issuing back-to-back walks, and something it looked like he had rectified after the struggles of the first 2 outings.
10 of his last 13 have been balls. He's quickly up to 80 pitches.
Runner bluffs a break from first, and another sky-high pop-up behind home and it'll reach the seats barely as it lands on the concrete before the first row of seats behind home. The count's going to go full. And Morningstar did go 7 last week and only issued 2 walks. That was after 3 walks in 4 innings against Siena and a couple of walks in 3 innings against Houston in the season opener. Tonight, 7 strikeouts to just 1 walk, but another 3-ball count. Called strike 3, McDonald frozen, and that is 8 Ks for Morningstar.
Good fastball, got down and in. Trying to throw it a low middle part of the plate, ran into the first base edge. Nice job by Conti of sticking that, letting the umpires see it.
2 down now for Rintaro Sasaki, who was walked with 1 out and the bases clear in the 3rd. Of course, he led off with a home run for Stanford's only tally of the night.
Home plate umpire Kevin Sweeney, a veteran, I think is doing a great job behind the plate thus far on balls and strikes.
Sasaki with his 4th home run sends this one sharply towards first, but on a hop, Lewis has it 3 unassisted to retire Sasaki. Still 4-1 Wake here at the couch. Of double plays tonight. There's the first one that allowed Wake to score a run in the first. And there it looked like Dugan settled down nicely. Saw the line drive that caught him in the foot. Said, hey, that hit me in the spikes. I'm fine. Later in that inning, another chance at a double play that would have gotten Stanford out of the inning, but a wide throw allows Wake Forest to score 2 more after the Deacs had already plated 1. So again, so close to 2 double plays that would have made this a 1-1 game. Instead, it's 4-1 Deacs.
Yeah, and then, second double play, even if you don't turn the double play, if the throw doesn't get away, you prevent the run from scoring. So that changes it a little bit too. Dave Esker expressed they haven't been as sound defensively as he would have hoped at this juncture.
Lineup card will turn over, and a 3rd trip through the order. Javar Williams had a single through the right side his last time up. Saw in the highlight package the throwing error as Williams tags this one on a line into right. It's going to get down and get past Marsh. He'll play it off the wall, but that's going to be a stand-up lead-off double for Javar Williams. Multi-hit game for the Wake center fielder.
Fastball, both pitches, 86 on the first, 88 on the second one. That could be indicating maybe a little bit of fatigue. He's been 89, 90, 91, now a couple at 86, 88. Be curious to see if there's more activity or more vibrant activity that starts in the Stanford bullpen.
So far, nothing. Brings up Cade Lewis. The hottest hitters on the team and a definite RBI chance with Williams' speed off second base. Get a base hit to the outfield, he's probably going to score. ACC's leading base stealer off of second. There's a strike. Williams 14 of 15 on the bases this year. Lewis at the plate. The double in the first. Scored on the RBI ground out on the first near double play. You were talking about the defense for Stanford. That throwing error, the 16th error committed by Stanford defensively. This is their 13th game of the season. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Rounding third and heading for home is Javar Williams on an RBI base knock. Back up the chute by Cade Lewis. He's got 13 driven in on the season, and Wake pads the lead. It's now 5-1.
there's some bodies moving a little more urgently in the bullpen. 70 pitches for Dugan thus far, and again, his fastball not as much life this half.
Brings up Dalton Wentz. He's 1 for 2 tonight. So both Lewis and Wentz now with 8-game hitting streaks. In the case of Dugan, when you say life, talking pure velocity, or you think the movement might be down as well?
Yeah, it's maybe not so much the movement, but just how the ball reacts at the plate. You know what it's acting like to the hitter. You know.
See what Wentz has done over that 8-game hit streak. It's not like he just blew it into the outfield. 3 homers, 7 total extra base hits, and those 11 runs driven in. Big swing and a foul back to the screen.
Boy,
1-2.
he smoked that changeup last at bat that Kettleson did such a nice job on defensively. So he's had first pitch fastball, base hit his first at bat, lined out on a changeup last time. He looks very, very comfortable in the box.
Average now up to 377. Switch hitting sophomore pokes this one onto the deck. Do have some activity in the pen for the Cardinal. Old Peterson, the right-hander, getting loose, and it's a warm night. Temperatures dropped a little bit. We were upper 70s with a 6:02 first pitch. Up and in. Vince avoids that pitch. It's 2-2.
Feels up good up here in the press box. A little different than it did on February 20th.
Frigid. 40 degrees, cloudy, and wind. But thankfully, got up into the low 80s today. Wake's offense trying to heat up in the first ACC series with 5 runs on the scoreboard here tonight against Stanford. A double header tomorrow, starting at 2. Foul tip into the mitt as Lavin hangs on, and strikeout will retire Wentz. Just the 3rd K for Dugan.
3-2 changeup. I'm glad to see he hasn't abandoned it totally against left-handers. And Lavin did a nice job of sitting up on the outside part of the plate. It was a little up, but a good changeup. Hitters are swinging at your arm speed. That was a well-executed pitch there by Dugan.
Costello to bat next. 0 for 2 with that RBI ground out back in the first. Lewis, the base runner, off first as Costello not in love with Kevin Sweeney's strike zone there. Easy take there, and it's 1-1. Luke, of course, the older of the Costello brothers, still waiting on the return of younger brother Andrew, part of pregame batting practice, working through a knee issue. Here's a sharp bouncer that's going to get past Morin. Good effort from the Stanford third baseman. That is a base knock for Costello as Lewis moves up to second.
Breaking ball. A little belly in it coming out of his hand. Costello looked like he saw it pretty well.
It's a different kind of offense tonight, Dick, for Wake. You know, quote-unquote lack of home runs. Wake with only, again in quotation marks, 17 home runs through 13 games. Haven't hit one out tonight, but 9 base hits against Dugan. Here's Conti chopping one up the third base line. It's going to go foul, and Moran at third will slap the mid on it. And Dugan, by the way, has pitched now against Wake Forest for the 3rd time. Talked about his appearance in the CWS game back in 2023. Also threw against the Deacs last year. He had a relief appearance in the Saturday game. It was a rough one. 3 runs given up, no outs recorded as Wake won a 12-9 game 2. They lost in 12 to the Cardinal to start the series. Deacs then took the series in 7 innings, 10-0. So all time, Wake leads the series 3-1. Meeting number 5 tonight. Good breaking ball there from Dugan, and it's 1-2. 0-2 rather.
Two pitches. Still no real lively activity. Throwing in the bullpen.
Called strike 3. Conti took that on the inner part of the plate. 4th K for Dugan and a big second out with 2 base runners on for Wake.
Good location. A little bit of arm side movement there to the third base edge. If you go in there, you've got to make sure if you miss in off the plate.
Jackson Miller had the second of Wake's 3 base hits in the 4th. Wake scored 3. Pickup in the portal he has been. Sophomore appeared in a grand total of 5 games for Ole Miss last year. And after that base hit in his last at bat, his average is above 450, 459 in fact. Step off and a soft toss to chase Lewis back to second base. See the portal adds by Wake Forest. Mentioned Schaff from Georgetown. Cam Bagwell's been a midweek starter mostly, and Tyler Figueroa appeared on Wednesday night against his former team. Here's a base knock by Miller into left. Rounding third and heading for home is Lewis. Jackson Miller with another run driven in, and the Deacs lead by 5.
Back-to-back breaking balls. First one looked probably sliderish. That had more curveball action on it. Stayed up in the zone a little bit. Miller recognized it. Didn't try to do too much with it.
Offensively, Wake now with a couple of doubles to go along with 8 singles. Here's Austin Hawk. Takes a strike.
Pitch inning right now. Gotta believe a little bit of fatigue setting in on Dugan.
Hawk fouls that one back to the parking lot. 0-2.
Fastball at 87. You know, you don't make all your judgments based on what velocities are, but sometimes it can tell you how a pitcher's feeling, especially if he's not locating as well.
Peeled down to first on the check swing. This time Hawk does hold up. Aaron Higgins at first. Saw the graphic there a few moments ago. Wake tonight with men in scoring position. 4 for 8. Great situational hitting by the Deacs. Stanford, meanwhile, is 0 for 3. Called strike 3 there as Dugan gets the inning to come to a close, but Wake adds 2 more. Now 6-1 Deacs here at the couch. A 6-1 lead here in Winston-Salem. And Wake a perfect 3 for 3 with runners on third and less than 2 outs. Situational hitting. Such a problem early in the season as Deacs have worked through the gears offensively. On the mound, Blake Morningstar has thrown 83 pitches through 5 innings. He'll start with 2, 3, 4 in the Stanford order here in the 6th. Tokheim, who has struck out twice, bears repeating. Morningstar giving up just 2 hits, 2 walks one of those hits, the leadoff homer by Sasaki. Tokine with a big swing and a miss there. He's behind 0-2.
Both fastballs were in there, both with really good sink and movement to the arm side.
Ahead 0-2. Morningstar misses outside as Tokine trying to put a ball in play for the first time tonight. Nadai, the second baseman, led off the second with a double for the Cardinal. That's it. That's their offense outside of the 2 walks. Chance for punch out. Number 9 just missed him.
Just got underneath that one a little bit. It got a little bit loopy for him. Definitely the right pitch. 0-2 with the fastballs to a really good 0-2 cutter just off the plate. That one just up a bit, but the right pitch selection.
Grounder toward the Wake dugout. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Old-fashioned hard in, soft away, right?
Exactly.
Back in with the fastball. Now he can throw that slider/cutter away if he wants. He can pound it back in with the fastball.
Swing and a miss. Make it 9 Ks for Morningstar.
A little bigger breaking pitch than his slider. Probably that might be what he's calling his curveball, but it's a great contrast to that fastball that he ran in on the inside half the pitch before that.
Charlie Bates 0 for 2. Got a piece of him. Trickled in front of home plate. Mentioned the struggles that Stanford, they came in to this series traveling on Wednesday to get an extra day to get used to the Eastern time zone. They had a 9-6 loss to Nevada on Monday night, which they gave up 5 runs in the 9th. None of them were earned. It's amazing sometimes, like, you just need something to go right to kind of restart your season. And when it's going the other way, things like 2 narrowly missed double plays just seem to go against you. Nice job by Bates. Defensive swing to stay alive, 0-2.
0-2 change, outside edge, a little bit elevated. Love to have that down in the dirt. Try to get Bates to chase.
He was strikeout victim number 5 back in the 3rd. 10 strikeouts for Morningstar. He is dealing.
He's certainly got a varied and wide arsenal. That's what I would call a curveball. He's got that good small breaking ball. He's got a fastball that runs in. He's got a four-seamer he can keep on the first base side of the plate.
And he gets ahead here, 0-1.
Spin to win, a very common used adage nowadays.
Especially now we've got all the monitors that can tell you exactly how much spin is on every pitch.
Probably tells us too much. Sometimes you can tell it didn't spin enough because your outfielder's running it down at the fence and you're backing up third.
Low and away. It's J.J. Moran trying to get on base for the first time tonight. Fly out and a strikeout. It's a young Stanford team overall, relying on sophomores and freshmen. Got 2 seniors and a junior in their starting 9, with Dugan, a senior, on the hill. And ahead here, 3-1. Run the count full as that fouled back to the screen. Morningstar a couple of pitches shy of the century mark. No
secrets here, 3-2. throw it low middle and make him put the ball in play.
Swing and a miss. Morningstar. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night as he strikes out the side in the 6th. 11 Ks, and Wake leads 6-1. Forest leads Stanford 6-1, and on the mound, Nick Dugan's day is done. Starter for Stanford lifted in favor of another right-hander, Cassius Thomas, senior from LA, started his career at Duke, played a year there, 6 appearances, and then transferred back closer to home. See the numbers on Thomas so far this season. Wake Forest with a run in the 1st, 3 in the 4th, 2 more in the 5th.
Thomas's job is to keep this game within reach for Stanford.
Blake Morningstar, meanwhile, is getting some handshakes. Sometimes you can just tell right away with the way a pitcher is treated when he comes off the mound. Morningstar with 99 pitches for Wake tonight. So we'll see if he comes back out for the 7th.
More technology.
And that's going to be ball 1. Kevin Sweeney with the violation signal. David Esker out of the Stanford dugout to argue his case, and Thomas on the mound saying, what do you expect me to do? Again, going back to what we said earlier, technology is wonderful until it doesn't work. Eight, 9, and 1 for the Deeks, due up here in the 6th. Schaff had an RBI single in the 4th for his 6th driven in this year. Grounder is going to be actually grabbed by the second baseman, and a 4-1 put out as Nadai throws over to a covering Thomas for the first out.
Dockheim at first base went after that, as he should, knowing that Nadai is going to be there, and Thomas, the pitcher, should be. It's one of the plays you work on time and time and time again in the preseason, in the fall. Doesn't happen a lot during the course of a season, but if you work on it, you're going to be able to execute.
Saw the graphic there. Thomas used very situationally over his last 2 outings as he gives up a 1-pitch single to J.D. Stein, the freshman, who technically reached on an error. Part of that double play that went awry for Stanford on a wide throw on the 6-4-3. Solid base hit there, though, for the Wake shortstop. Brings up Jafar Williams, who's got a couple of hits tonight. Wake now, Dick, out hitting Stanford 11-2. No home runs yet for the Deeks. It's all been singles and doubles.
It's like a little bit of a cutter type offering there. 90. His fastball's sitting around 92. Looks like it's got some movement to the arm side of the plate, to the third base side, away from lefties into righties.
Rand moves in from his third base position. High strike called by Kevin Sweeney, 1-1. Showing bunt, pulling it back. That hit his bat.
I think he called it a foul ball. Looks like it might have.
We've seen Williams bunt for
Looks like it hit his knee.
a couple of
but he offered.
Yeah, a couple of bunt singles so far this year. Either way, it's 1-2. And now this ball served into left, ranging forward, then back. McDonald, all's well that ends well as he makes the put out to retire Williams. Earlier tonight, we saw McDonald with a great break on a ball hit. That was by Stein. Drove one deep to left. A little bit of trouble reading that one, but left fielder makes the put out. There's 2 down for Cade Lewis. There's a strike.
Best fastball of the night thus far by Thomas at 94.
Cassius Thomas with 10 appearances. Was 2-0 last year, but an ERA over 10. He had 8 ACC appearances. Got his win in the ACC in this state. It was in Raleigh against the Wolfpack. Weird bouncer that sneaks inside the bag at third. Rolling down, McDonald's got it, breaking for second and sliding in. Cade Lewis. Stein over to third.
When you keep your hands inside the baseball, good things happen. Pitch on the inside part of the plate. That's about as inside the baseball as you can be with your hands. Wow.
About the third time tonight that J.J. Moran at third for Stanford has gotten a face full of the turf, trying to come up with one of these diving plays. Hasn't been able to do it. See Lewis with another double, his 5th. Wake now with 30 as a team. 3 of them tonight.
That ball had to be spinning away as well. It's English on that coming off the bat.
Colton Wentz is 1 for 3. 2 out RBI opportunity with a couple of guys on base with good speed. Stein at third, in case there's a wild pitch. See how aggressive he wants to be coming home. Lewis off second. Big swing and a foul back. Wentz, 5 home runs on the season, was definitely going for number 6.
That 90-mile-an-hour slider or cutter. Good time to throw it in a 1-0 count, a non-fastball count. A great swing at it by Wentz. Just missed it.
He looks at a strike there, 94 on the fastball. Nothing doing now in the pen for the Cardinal. This is Thomas's jam to try and get out. A nice job by Wentz to slice that one back and out of play. Ricochets off the roof. And the scramble is on for the Souvenir.
Thomas with arsenal of fastball, cutter slash slider, and that curveball he threw to Williams, and on that pitch to Wentz.
And another one fouled out of play. Wentz stays alive. Stein with a single, moved over to third on the Lewis double. It's the offense so far for Wake. Inside, 2-2.
Nice job laying off by Wentz. 2-2 best pitch that day.
This ball cranked out into left center field. Kettleson back, and he's gonna have room on the incline of the track. He makes the catch to retire Wentz. Still 6-1 Wake as we played 6 here at Winston-Salem in this ACC opener. From the junior right-hander, you see the reaction there to his 99th and final pitch as he struck out the side in the 6th to run his punch-out counter up to 11. 2 walks against those 11 strikeouts for Morningstar. He's going to hand things over to sophomore lefty Reese Bowie. Got the start last week, first career start against Davidson, career high 4 innings of work in that appearance, back to more of his normal environment as a reliever. We've got a pinch hitter as well coming for Stanford. Nadai, the second baseman, was due to bat instead of pinch hitter here. Sebastian David get his first at bat.
So if I'm Stanford, I'm going to be kind of selective here. Obviously, they're trailing. They want to make sure that Bowie pounds the zone, force him to get the ball over the plate.
Though Stanford has quite a few lefties in their starting 9, Nadai, not one of them. You got a lefty on deck in Lavin, so they substitute one right-handed batter for another, as David is ahead 2-1. He's a infielder as well. Chance just a straight swap here. 6'1" junior out of Medina, Washington. He's ahead 3-1.
Bowie with a low arm slot lefty, a lot of moving parts to his delivery, a lot of knees and elbows coming at you. He's got some deception. Fastball, a couple different breaking balls.
8 walks through 10 innings thus far for Bowie. Finds the zone there to run the count full. Swing and a miss there. Bowie getting David to fan on the pitch for his first strikeout and the 12th tonight by Wake pitching.
Fastball at 97, knee high, middle part of the plate. Might have had a little sinking action to it. That's a tough pitch to hit.
Bowie does list a sinker as one of his pitches. 4-seamer, slider, curve, and change. The rest of his repertoire. Again, the lefty Lavin is 0 for 2. Will stay in. He's the catcher. Couple of strikeouts for him tonight offensively. Skip back to the backstop. Mentioned it earlier, but bears repeating for those of you trying to make plans for the weekend. No game Sunday because the forecast is going to play 2 tomorrow. Doubleheader starting at 2 o'clock. The 1-1. Oh, it froze him there with a breaking ball. Pretty pitch there from Bowie, and it's 1-2.
Breaking ball pitch before that at 88. This one, more curveball-ish, comes in at 82 for a strike. So you've got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and 2 different offerings of breaking pitches. That's a pretty good repertoire.
Bouncer foul. Do it again.
If I had 97 in my holster, I don't think I'd throw a lot else.
Seems like everybody can throw 97. At least that was the opinion of David Esker. We visited with him before the series. Bowie, ready's in the 1-2. Up and in, evens the count. I believe the quote from Coach Esker was, you know, Wake's coaches throw 90 to 92.
That's right.
Their pitchers get into the upper 90s. Just outside there on the 2-2 to run the count full.
Boy, great take by Lavin there. That's a tough one to lay off. Low arm slot. That ball looks like it's coming from behind Lavin. Really good job of laying off a good pitch.
Especially when you're 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts already tonight. This ball hit weakly. Weird spin, but grabbed it first by Lewis unassisted to the base, and there's 2 away. Clean game defensively by Wake Forest tonight.
I can't imagine that Conti or any of the Wake catchers are going to be going to the edges too much on Bowie. I think his fastball's got so much life, or his stuff's got so much life. You know, they're going to set low middle, let the ball get to the edges on its own.
Kettleson, also a lefty. Played a good game defensively in center. He'll stay in and bat against the lefty Bowie, and he looks at a breaking ball for a strike.
Left-hander, go hard, 98 on the hand, so the breaking ball again.
This is inside there. Really enjoyed our visit with Coach Esker. He wasn't afraid to praise Wake Forest. He used the David and Goliath metaphor for what his hitters were going to face with Wake Forest pitching. Trying to generate offense late, only 2 hits thus far.
We talked about the fact that the most important part of it is the hitter, pitcher. You know, they got to win some of those pitcher-hitter confrontations if they're going to have some positive results here this weekend.
Bowie ahead 1-2. Spikes that pitch into the turf, evens the count. They did practice, speaking of Stanford, they did practice here yesterday. Typically Thursday's a travel day. They flew in on Wednesday from the West Coast. The 2-2. Fouled back to the screen. The team in Stanford last year started the season really hot. Announced their presence in the ACC, won a series at Carolina in their first trip east as a member of the league. 2-2 pitch misses outside, so despite retiring the first 2 batters that Bowie has faced, he's thrown 19 pitches. Another lengthy at bat here, but a chance to get out of the inning. 1-2-3. Swing and a miss. Gonna have to complete the strikeout with a throw down to first, but a couple of more punch outs for Wake Forest pitching as Bowie K's 2-14 on the night. Time to stretch here in Winston. North Carolina with Dick Cook, Phil Brain with you for this ACC conference opener. Beautiful Friday night. Sebastian David will stay in the game after he pinch hit for the Cardinal and play second base. David making his second appearance of the young season. Cassius Thomas continues on the hill for Stanford as he'll face the middle third of the Wake lineup, Luke Costello, to start the home half of the frame. Costello 1 for 3. Base knock for Wake's right fielder in his last at bat in the 5th. Check swing, but he went around 1-1. Another defensive change for Stanford over at third base now. Eric Gion. Here's a weak grounder. Should be routine. David fresh into the game. Barely broken a sweat. Throws out Costello 4-3. Matt Conti with a single and a run scored in the 4th. Sophomore catcher. Done a good job. A couple of close pitches tonight he might have stolen on behalf of his battery mate.
Yeah, he's very comfortable to throw to if I were a pitcher. I love the way he sits behind the plate. Does a nice job sticking the pitches and letting the umpires see it. Moves well behind the plate, gives a good visual of the pitch to the pitchers.
Takes inside 1-1.
Good job thus far by Thomas of keeping this game here. Being a good strike thrower in the short time he's been out there.
Wind starting to pick up a little bit, blowing out, maybe slightly to left as well. Conti, ballpark's going to hold this one, but it was roasted into center field on a line drive base hit. Conti's second of the night. And again, the hit parade continues for the Deeks. 13 base hits. So used to seeing this team that's hit 100 home runs the last 4 seasons. Tonight, 3 doubles and now 10 singles. Brings up Jackson Miller. Lavin with a good job to smother that one enough to keep Conti aboard at first.
Boy, that had a lot of late run and sink to it.
Miller with his 15th RBI in his last at bat. He chops this one weakly. It's going to be foul, third baseline.
I think both teams have done a nice job, both pitching staffs, of throwing non-fastballs in some fastball counts and getting the ball in the zone in those situations. That just, again, that lets your fastball play differently. It's a basic tenet of pitching, especially at this level, the ability to do that.
This chopper will be playable. They're going to go to second for 1. There'll be no chance of a double play, but they do retire the lead runner. Gian throwing over to second base to retire Conti. Miller aboard on the fielder's choice. Two down, and Austin Hawk, who got on base with a walk in the 4th. Pinch runner for Wake Forest is out of the dugout. Talked about the portal ads for the Deeks. Tyler Figueroa from App State got the win on Wednesday against his former team. Hawk now up to 7 walks drawn. He tries to get his bat to warm up a bit. Good fastball there, Thomas. 1-1 now. Hawk starting for the first time this year as the designated hitter. His other starts have come at his more traditional second base. Takes inside for a 2-ball, 1-strike count now. Figueroa off first, hasn't attempted a steal this year. Fastball there, 98.
98, that did look 98, but that's before better than anything else he's thrown, so it very well could have been.
Hawk fouls this one out of play, so it runs the count full and gives Figueroa a chance to get moving off the first.
Thomas pounded the zone for the most part. Wake has not gotten a ton of great swings on his fastball yet.
Foul tip into the mid as Lavin hangs on. Strikeout for Thomas, and that will be the inning. No damage done, and it remains a 6-1 lead for the Demon Deans. Hooks Field, David F. Couch Ballpark. Wake Forest with a couple of defensive subs as we start the 8th. Corner outfielder spots have both changed, with Tyler Figueroa as the pinch runner will stay in and play left, while Jordan Serrano will enter the ball game defensively in right. Reese Bowie will continue on the mound. He works a 1-2-3 seventh, a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. He'll face 8, 9, and 1. The Cardinal order. Tatum Marsh 0 for 1 with a walk.
Bowie needs to pound the strike zone. 20 pitches in the first inning in a 1-2-3 inning.
Breaking ball fouled into the netting above the visiting dugout up the first base line. Stanford's run joining us late. Leadoff homer by Rintaro Sasaki. As Marsh takes low and away, Conti behind the plate. Like that pitch from Bowie.
really good. 0-2 changeup. The ball had some good action down and away, not a hittable pitch. Opens up a lot of different opportunities here for him. Looks like they're going to go hard in.
Breaking ball in, but fouled back to the screen. And another encouraging point by Conti behind the plate.
Yeah, he liked the fact that he set up way inside. Bowie got it there. That's a tough thing to do sometimes for lefties on right-handed hitters.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Third strikeout for Bowie. 14th of the night by Wake Forest pitching. One away. Go ahead and take another look at the swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Marsh down on strikes for a second time tonight.
Talked earlier about pitches coming out of the same tunnel, looking the same, looking like fastballs out of the hand, and that's how you get that kind of a check swing when you're throwing a breaking ball, like looking just like your fastball out of your hand.
McDonald's been busy defensively in left. Behind 0-1. And 2 now.
Another off-speed offering there of some nature at 93. You know, that's how this game has changed. I mean, you got Bowie's running a 97, 98 mile an hour fastball, and he's thrown less than 50% fastballs tonight, and he's got 4 hitters in a row.
And excuse me, check swing, and it gets through as McDonald didn't have a whole lot of bat speed, but he hit it right where he needed to, up the middle for the base hit. First hit since the leadoff double in the second. First base runner to reach since a one-out walk in the 5th. Turns lineup card over with a one-out base runner for the aforementioned Sasaki. He went deep to left against Morningstar to start the ball game. Drew a walk in the 3rd, grounded out to first in the 5th.
It's only the 3rd fastball of the 13 pitches that Sasaki has seen.
Slices this one into the seats. It's one of those situations, right? You lead by 5 for Wake Forest. Stanford down to their final 5 outs, and it's their big home run threats. You can pitch carefully, just not too carefully. Throw to first. Close play. McDonald beat the tag of Lewis.
Yeah, you want to keep pitching, but you don't want to nibble. You don't want to give him too much credit. You're not going to just throw it down Broadway. You've got to really focus, go pitch to pitch. Treat it like it's a 0-0 game.
Inside on the breaking ball, 2-1. Sasaki coming off 2 hits in the loss to Nevada. That was his first multi-hit game since the season opener against Arizona. Has the home run tonight. Comes inside, that got him. Now, did he go around on the swing?
Well, I couldn't tell if Kevin Sweeney called that a foul ball, but he absolutely swung. Yeah, Kevin called that a foul ball, stopped it right away.
Esker out, as well as training staff, to take a look at Sasaki. All the hype surrounding him. He was dubbed ACC Freshman of the Year in preseason last year. Hit 270. See what he's done recently out of the last 5 games, but think about all the new in his life, new language, new type of baseball as they look at his left hand. But for a freshman like that to hit 270, 7 home runs, and 41 driven in, outstanding first year for him. Looks like he's going to be all right to stay in the game.
And he's just got a maturity to his approach, maturity to the way he carries himself.
Kevin Swaney will give him, much like you give a pitcher a chance to throw a pitch or two after they've been hit on a comebacker, he'll give Sasaki a chance to swing the bat and make sure he's good to go. A 2-2 count. One out base runner. McDonald is at first. This ball fouled out of play. Another throw over to check on McDonald.
Well, that's a very athletic step-off move by Bowie. That alone will keep guys short of that preliminary lead, which could also shorten up their secondary lead.
Upstairs slightly on the 2-2. Run the count full.
It's a tough pitch to lay off by Sasaki.
Hanamaki, Japan, northern half of the main island. It's got a payoff coming. Weak grounder, back to Bowie. To second for one, over to first, double play. Wake Forest with the 1-6-3 to retire Sasaki, and it's still 6-1. Virginia takes game one in Chapel Hill over Carolina 13-3. Notre Dame spoils the home ACC opener in Durham, beating Duke 10-4. Got a delay down in Atlanta, but Georgia Tech off and running against Virginia Tech, and early runs between Miami and Boston College. Looking around the rest of the ACC scoreboard, see Philip Chong in center field for Stanford. NC State losing to Lafayette. Lafayette with their first win of the season, beating the Pack in Raleigh 11-6. So Philip Chong, for those of you scoring at home, keeping the old scorebook up to date. Now out in center field. Thomas will go back to the hill for a third inning in relief. He has pitched well thus far. Throwing up a couple of zeros on the scoreboard in left field. Shaft to bat first, and the Wake second baseman bunts foul.
Yeah, Thomas, exactly what Stanford needed to keep this game somewhat in reach.
We'll have just 3 outs to work with when we go to the ninth. 2, 3, and 4 due up in their order as Shaft falls behind, 0-2. This liner right back at Thomas, threw the glove up. It was past him as Shaft with his second hit of the evening. A couple of singles for Georgetown transfer.
It's like Thomas has a couple different breaking ball offerings. The first one was the 2 pitches before that were slider-ish, kind of 90-mile-an-hour breaking balls. That looked more curveballish. 0-2 count, he wants to be bouncing that. Obviously, he left it up where he didn't want it. Shaw recognized it out of the hand, did a nice job keeping the hands back.
35 pitches for Thomas out of the pen. As he gets a belt high strike to J.D. Stein, is going to step out and compose himself. If this was the big leagues in spring training, he'd probably be tapping the top of his helmet. And he's behind 0-2. Good pitch there.
Yeah, similar to Dugan, Thomas has that good, tight Small breaking ball, which balances that 94-mile-an-hour fastball well.
Bouncer foul. Another right-hander warming for Stanford. It's number 37. Dominic Pinella.
So I'd love to see a fastball here just to let Stein see something different.
Upstairs, ball one.
Yeah, you got a pitch to play with you. You can elevate a fastball. You can throw it 6 inches off the outside part of the plate, and then finish it with that breaking ball if you want to. If you think that's the finishing pitch.
This is low with the heater, and it's 2-2. Likely play will be at first. That's what Thomas decides to do. Ground out for Stein, but it does move Schaff into scoring position. Jabbar Williams has a single and a double. Really been in a situation where he can showcase his speed as ACC's leader in stolen bases. You know, it's not just, yeah, he's got 14 steals through 13 games, but in fact, he's only been caught once this season trying to steal bases. Corners are in for the Cardinal defensively. Our producer, Everett Hutto, with a great point. One time he was, quote unquote, caught because he overslid second base.
He's kind of your prototypical table setter, right?
No question. Takes that one low for ball two. It's always
42 pitches now.
Extended outing for Thomas, as I think Lavin understands the assignment here behind the plate. He's going to walk out, and I think this is nothing more than just to give Pinella a chance to throw a few more times, or he's got the hat off down to our right. He might just about be ready to go.
You know, and if you're Stanford, if you're Dave Eskin, you really want to see Thomas get through this inning so you don't have to use another arm. And not that another guy, you know, coming in for an inning or a hitter or two that pitcher can't go again tomorrow. But you really want Thomas to finish this half. At the same time, I think if he doesn't get this guy, that could be it.
Stanford pitching, giving up 14 hits. Their offense has had just 3. Really all you need to know about this one. For the leadoff homer by Sasaki, it has been all Deeks here in Winston-Salem. Williams will ground this one straight down. Foul ball, 2-1.
There's that 2-0 slider, non-fastball on a fastball count. A lot of good pitching decisions made by both sides of the field on whoever is calling the pitches tonight.
There's a strike to even things back up. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Thomas has gone to his curveball a number of times here in his short outing to lefties with 2 strikes.
Schaff will take his lead off second. As Williams turns on this one, got out ahead of it. It's well foul.
Pretty good pass at that off-speed pitch. Wouldn't surprise me if we see him trying to go fastball here.
Williams has hit 1 out this year. Ground ball, that's through for a base hit. Bill Salento in the third base coaching box puts on the stop sign. They'll be at the corners after Jabbar Williams' 3rd hit of the evening. See how aggressive Wake elects to be here. 1 out, men at the corners. Opportunity to let him show his speed, but I wonder if Thomas will see another batter. We've got Cade Lewis, who has a couple of doubles and an RBI single. First pitch fouled back to the screen. Cade Lewis, slow start, 5 of 24 through the first 6 games. Not unusual. In the last 8, he has turned it on and then some. 15 of 32 with those 2 doubles tonight, bringing his extra base hit total up to 8 as he flares this one foul.
Just a little tardy on those 2 fastballs. Interesting here in this 0-2 count what Thomas might throw. If he goes off speed, you want to throw it in a spot that it's no chance of speeding up Lewis's bat. Let him see it, maybe try to go 0-2, 1-2 with a fastball.
This ball lined hard. Nice play at third by Chung. They'll go to second for 1, can't turn 2. So Lewis will reach. Schaff will score, and it's now 7-1 Wake. John with a great stab at third. Just going to be a tough turn.
Boy, Lewis really got down the line on that. Great play at third to start that. And after he made the play on the ground ball, did a nice job of taking his time and making the throw.
Second time tonight, Thomas Eager out of the dugout. Still haven't made a call to the bullpen where Piniella is ready.
There's not a catcher in position to catch a baseball down there right now, so either this is Thomas's and they don't need to throw any more in the bullpen. Piniella's had enough, and here he comes.
So that will be it for Cassius Thomas. Wake extends their lead, and it's now 7-1. Final out of this 8th inning as Wake has pushed 1 across to extend the lead to 6. And this will be the first career appearance for Piniella. Didn't get any run last year as a freshman. Top 25 pitcher in the state of California in his class. Chance for him to make a collegiate debut on the road in the ACC. Welcome to the league, kid. You're going to face Dalton Wentz, who, as of late, has been one of the hottest hitters in Wake's lineup. Tonight, Wentz has a base hit back in the first. Since then, a couple of flyouts to center and a strikeout. First pitch will miss low. It goes as an F8 in the scorebook, but both times that Wentz has flown out to center, he has barreled up on the baseball. This time he skies one foul back of home. So barring something truly crazy here in the 9th, looks like Cade Lewis's home run streak's going to end at 3 straight games as the chopper is wide of first. Ball and 2 strikes now against Wentz. Deacon order continuing to take shape. Williams, Lewis, Wentz, and Luke Costello back healthy. Pretty much right in pin, the top 4 in Tom Walters' lineup most days at the yard. As Wentz taps this one back of the dish.
You know, Wentz, like Sasaki, very efficient in the box, not a lot of moving parts. Again, we talked about Sasaki's quiet head. Same thing with Wentz.
on a delay, taking off and stealing second, BK Lewis. The 8th swipe of the year by the Deeks. Now a 2-out RBI spot here with 2 strikes for Wentz. He takes low to run the count full.
Boy, good miss and a good take by Wentz.
Did miss by much. Here's a ground ball, foul.
It's just tough to get Wentz off balance in the box. He's just so firm in there. Yeah, he can fight off tough pitches.
Called strike 3. Wentz flips the bat. He thought it was ball 4, but Piniella gets a strikeout in his collegiate debut. 7-1 Wake. Stanford down to its last 3 outs. For the Stanford offense, Wake tying the game in the first and inching ahead in the 4th, and padded their lead late on in this game. Deeks trying to win their 5th out of the last 6 conference openers. Cardinal, 3 outs to work with and a 6-run deficit. Start the inning facing Reese Bowie, beat Teddy Tokan, who's 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts. First pitch to him, nice piece of hitting there as he lines it down the right field line. Serrano has some trouble with it as it gets away from him initially. He'll get it back in, but a leadoff double for Stanford's first baseman.
Good pass on a pretty good pitch there by Bowie. Tokan not trying to do too much with it. Ball was middle-ish, maybe middle away. Again, Bowie's got to keep pitching like it's a 0-0 game.
Pinch hitter here for Stanford is Charlie Bates out of the 3-hole was 0 for 3. So you see there, number 33, Henry McDonald. No relation to Court MacDonald. Started and left for the Cardinal tonight. They spell it differently.
You don't see the M-A-C Donald very often, do you?
Feels more Scottish. Here's a strike. The McDonald at the plate. 6'2" sophomore out of South Pasadena. Transferred in from Cal Poly.
When you're on Wake's side, up 7-1 in the 9th, leadoff guy base hit. Just getting that first out is what, just breathe a sigh of relief when that occurs. There's a lot of times when those innings can start to leak on you. All of a sudden it's ball 4. You're pitching out of more trouble than you need.
We're trying to come on and close down the final 3 innings after Morningstar went for 6 in the start. Blake Morningstar, the only run he gave up was an 0-2 homer to left by Sasaki. After that, he settled down on 99 pitches, struck out 11, walked 2, and only gave up 1 other base hit after that home run. This ball fouled sharply back to the netting. Still 2-2.
What a great fastball right there by Bowie. So down in the zone, had some sink, some movement to his arm side away from McDonald, and a good job by McDonald of fighting that off.
Bowie, of course, made his first career start a week ago. Stretching him out a bit. As he misses there to run the count full. Pitch count now at 42. He's into his 3rd inning of relief. Payoff on the way. This ball hammered into left. Long run for Figueroa. Won't matter. Home run Cardinal, their second round tripper of the night, as McDonald goes deep. And it's now a 7-3 ball game.
So my first manager in professional baseball with the Winston-Salem Red Sox right here at Ernie Shore Field used to talk about there are times when a team's trailing where a home run can be a rally killer. Breaking ball that just stayed up. But sometimes that ball going out of the yard might be better for Wake than that ball being a double. Now he's pitching with a 4-run lead, nobody on, nobody out. It's kind of like he's starting a new inning.
Eric John on here to swing and foul back. Couple of homers, couple of walks, but just not a whole lot. As you said, a big scoring threat, so they do have a crooked number now on the board in left field. Breaking ball misses the back door.
And the Wake staff has minimized the free passes, right? Hit batters, walks, not happening. All of a sudden, you stay away from the big innings that way.
There's a strike, 1-2.
Cutter type slider pitch there at 86 from the low arm slot lefty.
And the 1-2 outside is Bowie, no doubt, reaching towards the outer edges of his fuel in the gas tank, if you will.
Depending on what they've got going in the bullpen, it wouldn't shock me if this guy gets on. That would be the end of the line.
Swing and a foul back. Do it again. Right-hander Will Ray, who got the win in Boone on Wednesday. Team captain getting loose.
Wasn't going real fast, though.
Casual tossing, you might say. Weak grounder, foul. Stanford was victim of a huge ninth inning in their loss on Monday, trying to put a huge ninth inning together, and Johns worked a full count.
First pitch double by Takheim, and then a full count home run, full count again here.
As this ball cranked down the line, is it fair? Yes. Back-to-back jacks as John takes Bowie deep. And it's now 7-4.
Looked like another elevated breaking ball there. Letter high, right along the Stanford on the shirt.
Sebastian David is a pinch hitter back in the 7th. He struck out. He's going to get his second at bat tonight. Matt Conti out to have a chat with Bowie.
This is to give Ray a little more time in the bullpen, I'm sure.
Bowie had only given up one homer through his first 10 innings of work prior to tonight. Had a good outing brewing with a couple of scoreless innings of relief, and Bears repeating with a doubleheader tomorrow. Both coaches not wanting to use an extra arm if they can help it, but Tom Walter out of the Wake Forest dugout. He will pull Reese Beaulieu. Does not record an out in the ninth as Stanford goes back to back. And it's now 7-4. Win after an inning of relief against App State on Wednesday. With no outs in the ninth, Stanford back-to-back home runs to draw within 3 at 7-4. So a safe situation here for Ray. Had 2 saves, did Ray, in his campaign in 2024 when he appeared 33 times last year. Of course, the season cut short after an elbow injury that required surgery after just 7 appearances. 3 appearances this year make it 4, counting tonight. So far, 2 1/3 innings, he's given up a hit, striking out 4 and no walks as Tokheim led off with a double, and then Bowie hung breaking balls to both McDonald and John, who took him deep to left. So now Sebastian David, 0 for 1 already off the bench. He looks at a strike.
Low arm slot right-hander, Mr. Ray is. He's fastball, breaking ball. That was a really tight slider that stayed on the arm side of the plate, a little bit on the inside half to David.
Fouled off the mask of Conti. Jarred something loose. See him going to work. I was going to say, the PitchCom device?
Yes.
Thank you, fellas, for the replay.
PitchCom's been having a tough night.
Swing and a miss as Ray retires David on 3 pitches. So the line on Bowie, 2+ innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, and really one of those where it felt like once the gas meter got a little too low, those breaking balls just stayed up.
Yeah, you know, when you got a 97, 98 mile an hour fastball in the tank there, I would love to see a few more of those.
Luke Lavin will bat here. Junior 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out to first, and on 1 pitch he grounds out to short. J.D. Stein throws across, and after the Cardinal made a lot of folks at the couch very nervous very quickly in the ninth, striking for 3 runs after 3 batters. Ray restoring order for the moment. That's Philip Chong, who was also brought in as a defensive replacement, will get an at bat here. Freshman from Canada.
Fastball down Broadway. If he hits a double, he hits a double. Make him put it in play.
Chong fans on that one.
Or you can throw a nasty 80 mile an hour slider off the plate and get the strike 1. A couple different ways to do it.
It's 0-2. Chance for Ray to get the save and Wake to nail down a win to start the ACC season and run their overall win streak to 13. The 0-2 outside for a ball.
Good miss. I tell you, Conti's done such a nice job of setting up properly behind the plate, getting out when he needs to get out to give that pitcher a visual as to where the miss should be.
Crowd on its feet. They want the punch out for the punctuation. And they're gonna get it. Called strike 3. Ray gets the save as he retires all 3 Cardinal batters that he faces. And Wake gets the win over Stanford. 7-4, 13-game winning streak for the Deacs, their longest since 2023. They set the table for the doubleheader tomorrow, a chance to win their first ACC series of the year. And Dick, of course, Stanford striking first with the home run, but after that, Blake Morningstar was excellent, and the Wake offense did what it needed to do tonight.
Yeah, Bowie leaked a little bit, but he threw the ball well. You know, they got through the game in essence with two pitchers, and Ray comes in for the final piece. So I think a well-pitched game by Wake and some good at-bats and just a well-played baseball game on their side of the field.
They out-hit Stanford 15-6, win the game 7-4. Doubleheader coming tomorrow on the air at 2 for the first of the Twin Bill. Hope you'll join us then. For our crew and for Dick Cook, Phil Brain signing off from the couch. Wake a winner, 7-4.